Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We have an amazing show for everybody today. What do we have, Krystal?
Indeed we do. Well, first of all, we got the perfect guest to break down whatever the hell is going on in the New York City mayor's race. The Board of Elections, of course, total catastrophe. Looks like Catherine Garcia may have a chance to overtake Eric Adams. So we're going to talk to Ross Barkan about all of that. Jim Clyburn jumping into Nina Turner's primary race, doing what he can to try to stop her incredible momentum. Not an accident that he takes tons of money from Big Pharma, and Nina has just released a new ad talking about Medicare for all. Not an accident there. The CFO of Trump organization has turned himself in today. Looks like he's going to be indicted on charges of it's tax evasion on fringe benefits. So we're going to talk about all of that. Tucker Carlson says the NSA is spying on him. What do we know? What's the fact? What's the fiction? Is the NSA also spying on you? Very possibly the answer is yes.
That's the big question.
Yeah, exactly. If they are spying on him, he's not special. Let's just put it that way. But we wanted to start with what is a total outrage, which is that yesterday Bill Cosby walked free.
It's pretty amazing, Krystal, how these rich, famous guys who are rapists, alleged rapists from Mr. Cosby's lawyers, continue to walk. And let's put this up there on the screen, which is that Bill Cosby's conviction yesterday went ahead and was overturned by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court by a vote of 6-1. I've got some mixed feelings on this because, to be honest, on the legal grounds, it sounds like it was correctly decided. But let's just explain what exactly was happening here. So back in 2005, Bill Cosby was given an assurance by Bruce Castor. You might remember him as that really weird lawyer who was doing a lot of stuff after the January 6th impeachment inquiry against Trump in the Senate. That was him, that guy, the clownish, buffoonish figure. Well, Castor gave him an assurance at the time that if Mr. Cosby were to testify in a subsequent civil case, who was brought by Andrea Constand. She's one of the main Cosby accusers in a civil suit that she filed against him in 2006 for $3.38 million, that he would not be prosecuted explicitly under the case of this crime. So it seems that Castor, by giving him that assurance and testifying to that effect to the court, basically made it a slam dunk in terms of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court being able to overturn this. Now, prosecutors at the time of going after Bill Cosby had thought they might be able to go over this because it didn't fall within the purview of the agreement, but a 6-1 court decided against it. And Krystal, you and I feel very mixed about this because on the legal grounds, it seems correctly decided. But it's pretty amazing. Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Cosby and these prolific rapists somehow all get these little sweet, also all in the year 2005, weird. All get these really weird, like perfect sweetheart deals. Oh, you're not gonna be prosecuted. The man admitted to drugging her with Quaaludes and raping her. Yes. And she is one of dozens of Cosby victims. I recommended this podcast to you. I'll recommend it to all of you. Chasing Cosby, the LA Times did it. I listened to it like 2 years ago. I've never been more horrified at a story of sexual assault, possibly, the Epstein case, in terms of how much of a cover-up there was, how disgusting of a predator this man was from the very beginning of his career all the way up into old age. While he was America's dad, he was going and drugging, raping young women, sometimes who were teenagers, buying them off, trying to call their moms, promising them
career,
college
help,
tuition, scumbag. And now he gets to walk. It's just, it makes me so angry. And you found this, you found this clip of Cosby talking a little bit about it. Let's take a listen.
I want to show my panel a fascinating interview we found from 1991. Bill Cosby was on CNN promoting a book. He tells an interesting story. Take a look.
Spanish fly was the thing that all boys from age 11 on up to death, we will still be searching for Spanish fly. That's right. And what was the old story was, if you took a little drop, it was on the head of a pin.
That's right.
And
Drop
you put
it
it in
a
a drink.
Coca-Cola. Don't matter.
It doesn't make it. And the girl would drink it, and
she's yours.
Hello, America.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And so there's a lot to say about all of this. First of all, From my reading of it, you're right. This was correctly decided. It was 6-1 in terms of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, so it wasn't a particularly close call in their view. Even a monster, the way our constitutional system works, deserves to have their due process rights protected. However, that is far from saying the legal system worked in this case, or that justice in any sense of the word was done here. And one piece that I do take major issue with in this decision is they decided not only to vacate the conviction, they also decided to rule against a retrial.
That's right.
So that means this is it. That's it. He's free.
He walks.
But you think about the failures that occurred, not just with the buffoon Bruce Castor promising him, hey, you testify in the civil case, we promise we're not going to prosecute you. And then that testimony is partly what they used in this trial and secured the conviction. That's why his due process rights were violated here. But the failure goes to decades of this being an open secret. He's talking about it to Larry King, joking about it in 1991. Total societal failure, allowing this monster to go on and victimize woman after woman after woman. And it wasn't until Hannibal Buress, the comedian, remember how this all came about? Well, I think it was in 2014, made a joke about, hey, like, we all know Bill Cosby's a rapist, right? And that triggered all of these women to be able to come forward. That finally sparked this legal case against him. But because society had protected this rich and famous man, just like they did Harvey Weinstein, just like they did Jeffrey Epstein, over decades, this case with Andrea Constand was the only one where the statute of limitations had not expired. And on the day that she filed this case, it was days before the statute of limitations would have expired, even in this case. So that's why all of the dozens of women, I think we have a tear sheet of the number of women who have come forward and said, this is exactly, and the story is the same in every case. He drugged me, like you said, he offered career help, he offered me guidance, and then sexually assaulted, raped me. In case after case after case, years, this man was protected. And so it's a societal failure, it is a legal system failure. And I do think while on the technical term, again, and this is what's uncomfortable and one of the things that we do stand up here for on the show as civil libertarians and people who believe in people having due process rights, it's correctly decided on those merits. He should be retried though. There should be an ability to retry him, barring the evidence that he gave in the civil case. There may have still been enough there to convict him on these terms. So it is a totally outrageous and unjust state of affairs that this man is going free. And oh, by the way, everybody on the internet is pointing out Britney's motion at the same time to get her dad removed from her conservatorship is denied. So we got Bill Cosby free and Britney still effectively jailed. Cosby's not just free. He put a little gave a little V for victory. Let's put this up there. I have a picture of it yesterday from Taken by a Chopper. I mean, look at this guy. He's walking free, out of prison. He's got his peace sign. I even saw one of the moms, I think, from the Cosby Show, Felicia Rashad, who, by the way, is now a dean at Howard University, who here in Washington, who actually tweeted on his behalf, being like, justice has been done, miscarriage, screw you. And for all of the students at Howard University, I'm sorry, I can't even imagine having a dean who is somebody who expressed solidarity with Bill Cosby. Wow. I'm just gonna read a little bit from what some of these women say. He said, let's try a cold read. He pulls out a script. The scene was set in a bar, so someone was inebriated. He poured me a glass of wine. He said, use this as a prop. I don't remember much after that. Here's another one. He went and had a modeling contract. I took a few sips, it had a horrible taste. I started not to feel well. He helped me up by my underarms and he walked me into the next room where there was a mirror on the wall and he told me to look at myself and then he sexually assaulted her. I looked around. He was sitting next to my roommate with this very predatory look on his face. She was completely unconscious. There are 35 of these, which are listed there, and that's only about half of them. So, like I said, I encourage you, go listen to that Chasing Cosby podcast. I'm gonna get so upset if I even have to think about so many of the way that they recount it, but we will leave it with Andrea herself, who gave an interview about what he did. So let's take a listen.
He said, they'll help you relax. And I said, like, are they natural? Are they like a herbal remedy? He said, no, they're your friends. Just put them down.
They're your friends.
They're your friends. Just put them down.
Swallow.
And he hands me some water. I get some water somehow, and I swallow the 3 pills down.
Why do you do that?
I took them because I trusted that they would maybe just help me feel a little more relaxed.
You trusted him.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
As Andrea testified in court, within a half hour she started slurring her words and could no longer walk. Cosby helped her to a couch, she says, and assaulted her.
And you know, Andrea, she was a young girl when that happened, and she had her whole life ahead of her. And she was the one whose he called her mom, and he was like, oh, I'll pay for her college tuition. And she was a star basketball player and all this. Her life was ruined. She literally had decades of therapy. I think she's in her 50s now or something like that. And she still has to live with it. So, you know, I really don't even know what to say. I can't believe this guy gets to walk.
There's two other things I want to say. Number one, it makes me feel sad about what has happened to the Me Too movement, because this cause was just. The cause of taking down Harvey Weinstein was just. A lot of the societal correction desperately needed to happen. And for so many years, women like Andrea, they couldn't come forward. Mm-hmm. No one would believe them. They'd be pushed to the side. They'd be smeared, dismissed, slut-shamed, all of that, okay? So a societal correction desperately needed to happen. Now you've had all these grifters who've tried to reattain relevancy, right. People like Alyssa Milano latching onto it. Right. You see people who are just total, potentially, frauds, like the woman who took down Scott Stringer in the New York City mayor's race. You see the way this was weaponized for sure, this one we know 100%, against Alex Morse in this race. So it makes me sad to reflect on that. And then the one other thing that I'll say is, like, I just can't stop thinking about the way that this man, Bill Cosby, lectured America, and especially Black America, for years about, like, you gotta pull up your pants and respectability politics, as if he was in any position to be a moral arbiter or a moral voice in society. It's outrageous. And reflecting on it now, you sort of realize his message was like, well, as long as you present like you're good and above board on the outside, on the inside, it really doesn't matter. Just the exterior is what counts. And we see now what an ugly, ugly man, ugly interior this was, and what he did to so many women. And not to face justice, it is an absolute outrage.
Yeah. We'll continue to follow it if there's any major developments. But wanted to make sure that you guys knew all of the details that were involved. Both the fact that it was probably legally correctly decided, but just how much of a miscarriage of actual justice this entire thing is.
Indeed. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut. Our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it. You get to ask us questions. All that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.